Hey guys, welcome to another week's episode. This week we'll be going over the Philippines typeset that I've been working on, dating from 1864 up to present. So we'll definitely be going through the Spanish-controlled Philippines, the Spanish-American War, the U.S. involved Philippines into the Japanese occupation, and then we handed the country back off to the Philippines up to their republic in modern day. I've been working on this typeset for quite a while. Sorry. It's pretty well finished for the older part, but for the more modern coins, which are feeling like they're a lot harder to get than the classic coins, especially some of the modern commemoratives. Sorry. Again, if I talk too long, I start to yawn. So I'll try to keep the talking down to a minimum on this. Pretty fun typeset to put together. There are books like a Whitman or a Dansko for the Philippine typeset, but I like to go and collect the moderns, where the Whitman or the Dansko only stops at a certain point and doesn't involve the more modern coins, which I'm more of a completist and I prefer to go with the more modern coins. So let me change camera angles and we'll be right back. Okay, so we'll start in 1864. The Spanish rule was well before 1864, but I decided to go ahead and just start with Queen Isabella II. And during that time, they only made 3 coins: the 10 centimos, the 20 centimos, and the 50 centimos. And then after she passed away, her son, King Alfonso the 12th, for his 3 coins. And then they did a 1897 peso, this being the first and only peso minted under the Isla de Filipina. This is Prince Alfonso the 13th. Very collectible coin. As you can see, it's pretty valuable in just AU condition. So during this time, we started getting into problems with Spain, especially with Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and stuff like that. And the Spanish-American War broke out. So to keep Spain from attacking us from the west, we went and took over the Philippines. During that time, we set up a provisional government and helped the Philippines transition to a better government. And at the time, we started minting their coins for them. It wasn't until like the 19-teens and 1920s we opened the first Manila Mint, which was the first U.S. mint ever opened outside the U.S. soil. Definitely only a different country. At that time, we were minting coins from Philadelphia and San Francisco, as well as Denver. Then we started minting them from Manila. So, under U.S., I wouldn't say rule, U.S. involvement, We tried plenty of times to restart their government. Plenty of times we failed. But finally, up around 1940s, right before World War II, we had a government that started working pretty good until the Japanese took over. So definitely the coinage from 1903 up to 1945 was minted by the U.S. They had a half centavo, 1 centavo, 5, 10, 20, 50, and then a peso. Early years was 90%. Then they went to 75 and 80%. And then after World War II, when we regained the Philippines, we minted a last set in 44 and 45. Sorry. I apologize. My body doesn't want to cooperate today. So, again, after World War II, when MacArthur brought more forces over and recaptured the Philippines from the Japanese, we minted one more set. The 1 centavo, the 5 centavo, the 10 centavos, 20 and 50. This having a more different seal. If you noticed, earlier we had more of a U.S. seal with the eagle and the U.S. shield. And then we went to a more Philippine shield with the symbol of the Philippines on a shield with the eagle, meaning that we were still protecting over the Philippines, but the Philippines were their own country. In 1947, after we had moved out in 45, the Philippines asked us to mint them one more 50 cent in a peso, or 50 centavo in a peso, in commemoration of Douglas A. MacArthur. So these were minted in the U.S. Only 200,000 50 centavos and 100,000 pesos were made. Also beforehand, the only other commemorative was the peso done by the Spanish of Prince Alfonso III. Yes, there were other commemoratives in the past. In 1936, there was a commemorative set of a 50 cent piece and 2 pesos. One with, I think it's Kenza was his name. Let me look this up again. There's Kenzo and C. Murphy, and I'm sorry, and a Murphy. I apologize, not C. Murphy. And there's a 1 peso with Kenza and Murphy, and 1 peso with Kenza and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Later on, the Philippines minted their own coins, still under U.S. mints, but under Philippine design. And they went ahead and with the Central Bank of the Philippines. This is who distributed the coins instead of the U.S. You had the 1, the 5, the 10, and finally the 25. They moved from the 20 centavos to the 25 centavos. And then you had the 50 centavo. In 61, I'm missing a few of these. I'm still working on the full set. There is a 50-cent piece or 50 centavo piece that goes with this. This is Jose Rizal. This is commemorating his 100th birthday. And we continue on to the more modern coins. Let me move this down so we can see. Alright, so going into the 60s and 70s, I have these in order of their KM numbers, which is a catalog number that's used for most coins. This one's actually an overdate, but it is a common overdate, so it doesn't affect the value whatsoever. 1969/6. I would say 90% of these coins were overdate. So again, like I said, it's not a uncommon thing. But we went to the centimos and the pesos. So the 67 through the 74 set, or 75. Some of the coins lasted in 1975. You had the 1, the 5 I'm missing, the 10, the 25, the 50, and the 1 peso. Then you had the 75 to 78 series, which I am still working on. Going into the 91 to the 94 series. And then the more modern series going in to the 92 commemoratives. And again, like I said, some of these more modern commemoratives are harder to get. I'll be going into the pesos, the 2 pesos, the 5, the 10, the 25 pesos, and 50 pesos. But only ones that are circulated. A blank page there for when I get the rest of the series. A few of the extra coins I've had left over, some of the really nice ones. One of these, sorry, the book is not cooperating with the camera stand. Let me change page here and pull this out. This is a peso from the U.S. involvement. The plastic likes to stick to each other. I did collect this one on purpose because of the chop mark. These also were used as trade dollars over there, and of course they were chop marked by the Chinese or whatever port they were brought into. They were known to be U.S. minted. They were known to be 90% like most other trade dollars involving around that time. Still, it's not, it is damage, but it's good damage, really. A lot of people do collect the chop mark coins. We'll put that back in. And also, I do have more coming. I am collecting some of the currency during the not Geld era when they were under Japanese occupation, and these were being minted or printed, should I say, by local banks just to use as promissories, whether one way or the other the Japanese kept or the U.S. came back and took back over. These would be honored and traded in for an actual peso. In 1944, when the U.S. Retook Philippines, they minted a whole set of victory pesos. There are 1s, 2s, 5s, 10s, and I believe there's 20s. These were copied off of an earlier series in 1918 that the U.S. made for the Philippines. And during that time, the U.S. was taken back over. You see on the reverse the victory overstamp and everything. I do have a few more of those coming in, as well as some 1949 series, which is the first series of Philippine currency. These are more rare. As you can see, I put a rarity of 87 out of 100. The higher the number, the more rare they are. This is based off an Amista scale. So the province of Cagayan, these are like 87 out of 100. The province of Negro Oriental, this is 79 out of 100. And these are more common, the victory notes, 33 out of 100. So I will be doing a series on a lot of the typesets that I have going right now. Next week I plan on doing Australia. So until then, we'll see you next time, and I'll keep you up to date with this once I get more stuff in. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.